3. Go. Right.
Mellow Weed Cigars, 1927. It took us probably about 2 years to get here, but right now we feel like we have some of the best cigars on the market. You know, and if you give us a chance, you'll find out.
All right. All right. Hold on. Let's get this party started, fellas. We are here. There we are. And we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. Hopefully I'm coming through nice and crisp for the family today. What's going on? See who's in the room. Let's get the technicals out the way really quick, man. Is my audio good, family? Is the video good? Let me know in the chat. I want to welcome all the guys that came in early. Shout out to GC. That's Ja King in the building. What up, Ja? K Houghton in the building. What's going on, brothers? Man, we have a very good show for you guys today. We're going to have some news updates, and then we're going to get into the gist of the show. I'm bringing some guys on the panel. Let me know some of your thoughts, and we're going to go ahead and get to rolling like that. He said we clear. Okay, we good. We good. Models and bottles. That's what's up. Yeah, man, I'm in a new apartment. I'm in a new location, man. The last apartment I in, they could not get the internet speed together whatsoever. So hopefully we are good to go on that note. Once again, I hope that all the family is doing well. All right, so family, I'm gonna start off with some news updates. Real quick about a lot of things coming out of the Dominican Republic right now. Uh, as far as vaccine mandates and all that good stuff, I know a lot of the family goes to DR a lot. I want to give a shout out to my dude Cardell, who's on top of the story. But also, I want to preface this when it comes to telling news about the Dominican Republic. All right, guys, things change a lot there very quickly. A lot of things, be in the news, but it didn't really get passed, and they changed like within hours of making a decision on something. So if you really want, good news updates, specifically about the Dominican Republic, it's a couple of YouTube channels. You got Sosua One. Shout out to Sosua One. He puts out a lot of good information about the DR. And shout out to my man Flip Flop. Me and Flip Flop hung out here in Rio de Janeiro, man. We had a really good night. So Flip Flop always giving out good information about the Dominican Republic. Shout out to my dude Cardell, who's in the group as well, the admin of the group, my business partner. He puts out a lot of good information as well. Now, one thing we can say for concrete is they did change the e-ticket service, the migration e-ticket service. If you don't know what that is, if you ever been to the Dominican Republic, you have to fill out this little blue form on the plane. It's really annoying. If you didn't have a pen, you got to wait on getting the pen. And all it's saying is like you're not coming in with over $10,000. You're not coming in with any type of vegetation that might harm the environment or anything like that. It's just a little basic questionnaire. And it's a little time consuming because if you don't have it filled out, you definitely gonna have to fill it out and turn it in to them once you get off the plane. So now everything is electronic with the e-ticket thing. The little form is now electronic. This is I'm gonna show the website on the screen you go to. Now you can fill this form out, guys, 72 hours before you check into your flight. So if you got to book trip plans to DR, I suggest you go ahead and fill it out. Me personally, I like to have all my stuff filled out before I even get to the airport, man. I like when they ask for stuff, I like to have it ready and on my phone. Once you fill out this form, let me pull up the website real quick for the family. Give me a second, guys. Let me see here. All right, there we go. This is the website you can go to make sure you can fill it out. Jay Clyde, what's up? Jay Clyde in the building. The channel is named Flip Flop, brother. The channel's named Flip Flop. Yeah. So basically, once you fill out the form, you're going to get a QR code, and I believe that's what you guys showed the attendant at the airport. All right, guys. So that's one of the changes right there. No longer do you have to fill out the little form. You can just do it on your phone. I suggest doing it on your laptop because, of course, it's in Spanish. Have it filled out before you even check in. Now, the other news coming out of the Dominican Republic is the fact that they're making it mandatory to have vaccine cards. Now, before, it's the rule specifically for the locals there, the citizens of the Dominican Republic. I heard that's changed. Now they're asking for the tourists to have the vaccine cards to enter different businesses, clubs, and bars like that. Now, keep in mind, that could change. In the Dominican Republic, that definitely can change. In my opinion, if you go to DR, you still have access to the beach. You can have your parties at the villa. You just won't be able to enter any clubs and bars. That's what they're saying thus far. So you might want to be mindful of that before you book your trip if you don't plan on getting a vaccine card. Whether it's for tourists or just for the locals, like I said, things change a lot. So you might want to be aware of that on booking your trip. And I also found out that some of the flight changes have changed as well in going to the Dominican Republic. I believe in Santo Domingo, they changed some day flights into night flights. So you definitely want to be aware when you're booking your trip, guys. All right. No, I'm not I'm still in Rio, brother. I'm still in Rio. All right. So let's go ahead and get this on off the screen. All right. Here we are. Now, I also am going to show a comparison list. The last show I did, I had a comparison list of Rio versus Medellin. And shout out to M1 teacher, master teacher. He was like, hey, man, can you do that list? Can you add a DR? So I added the DR on this list right here. Now, this is like a budget guideline. It's nothing set in stone per se. This is just my opinion, and I talked to a lot of locals and expats and all that good stuff. Considering living in these countries, so when you decide, hey, what country do you want to go to, you can kind of refer to this list to see, what's the best option for you. So let me go ahead and pull that list up for the family real quick. Shout out to Virgil. He said that last one. Hey man, I'm gonna talk about these apartments right now. Give me a second. I'm gonna share something with you guys. Give me a second. Okay, let me stop the screen on this. All right. One moment, family. One moment while I pull this list up. Who we at here? There we go. All right. Here we go. All right. So this is the list right here, guys. You got Rio, Medellin, and Sosua. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. My boy King sitting in the building. We're gonna definitely get into it in a moment. We're gonna talk about that real quick because it seems like there's a lot of videos going around in concerns of the passport, bro. Shout out to Kevin Samuels and Anton Daniels. We're going to cover that in a moment. All right. So here's the list we got here, family. This is the budget guideline. Now let me see if I can close up on that. There we go. All right. Now, if you see an X, the X represents a potential problem or something that you might have an issue with. It's not the best situation. All right. So that's what the X represents. Now, as far as the housing goes, all right, guys, as far as the housing goes, as you can see, Rio gets an X. All right. Me and some friends of mine, because I was in transition from apartments, and we were talking about the apartments here in Rio. We had a whole conversation about them, guys. The apartments in Rio can be an issue if you're used to an American standard. All right. They're a little dated. Even the elevators, they got the elevators from the 1950s, the Dick Tracy days, with a door. They don't have no doors. Still had like the elevator man and whatnot. So it can be dated. We're talking about specifically in Rio in the Copacabana area. Now, as you go from Copacabana to like Ipanema and other places, a little further out, the apartments can be a little bit more modern. All right. Especially in Leblon, Ipanema. Those areas are going to be a little more costly to you. So I'm just specifically talking about the main area of Copacabana where most tourists and most brothers going to come to. You definitely want to do your due diligence and doing your research and finding a apartment out here. Shout out to my dude, Ja King. Ja King did a video. You can check his channel out. That's Ja King. He did a video about his apartment in Rio. All right. So the housing is a little iffy in concerns of Brazil, Rio in particular. Now in Medellin and Sosua, the housing is pretty good, especially in Medellin. Now in Sosua, I love Sosua, man, because it's one of the places in the world where you can book a villa for like $130 to $150 a night, and you can have your own pool. It's really dope, really nice. So that's why Sosua gets a check mark as far as the housing concerned. The apartments are decent in Puerto Plata as well. They're pretty modern out there in Puerto Plata in that Sosua area. So Medellin and Sosua, as far as the infrastructure, as far as the apartments is concerned, they definitely get a check mark on that. All right. I'm gonna talk about that in a second, Sid Osley. He said Barra de Tijuca is your best bet for a more modern apartment in Rio. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now we go to the flights right quick, fellas. He goes to flights. Now, Rio is the furthest, of course. So the ticket's probably going to be more likely it's going to be higher. Now, it's all types of ways you can finagle your ways to your tickets. You might get a ticket for $500-$600 down here. You got guys that don't mind, 10, 12-hour layovers. My first time in Rio, I had like an 18-hour layover. I didn't even realize it. That was a few years ago. That was when I was fresh to the travel game. So it's pretty ways to tackle that ticket. But for the most cases, I'm going to say that most of the money, not most of the money, but that budget is going to be somewhat high when you're trying to fly to Rio. Now, Medellin, you got Spirit coming out here. I believe you got Copa that flies to Medellin as well. You got a few airlines that fly to Medellin for very budget airlines, rather. for a very good cost. So Medellin's gonna get the check mark as far as the tickets. I think I flew to Medellin from Atlanta for less than $400. It might have been like 350, 300 and some change. So definitely not. So Sosua, this where it gets a little difficult. Most guys, shout out to all my Sosua veterans. Most guys are going to fly to Santiago at night. I'm not sure if that flight is still available, but most of the time, guys are going to fly to Santiago to save the money. Now, I heard it's going to be some more flights going into Puerto Plata, but last time I was looking, the flights to POP were like 700, 600, right around that 500 mark. More than likely, you will not find a ticket for less than 500 in concerns of flying to POP. So right there, the flights aren't necessarily bad, but Medellin definitely gets the check mark as far as price for flights. All right. Yeah, we do need some new cities, brother. Yeah, Copa does fly to Rio. Now we got the food category. Rio and Sosua has very good food. All right, Medellin, the food is an issue. It's a problem. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's a little bit of an issue. All right, hold on. Let me go here. Let me see. All right, yeah, it's a little bit of an issue with the food in Medellin. It's a little bland. If you want some good food, you definitely want to, probably date an Afro Latina or something like that. But as far as the restaurants and everything, it's hit and miss in Medellin. You have a few, but I'm gonna be honest with you. In Medellin, it's not like you're looking forward to going out to eat in most cases. Now, they have the decor and the infrastructure in Medellin is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But the food, even at some of the nicer, expensive restaurants, it's always, and then some they don't even have a lot of seasonings like that, a lot of sauces like that. So Rio and Sosua definitely wins food hands down, man. They got all you can eat buffets in Rio for like $8 to $10. You can eat all you want. Some of the buffets even come with to-go plates, so you can get your food to go. Your after you eat, you can get your food to go. So Rio wins the food category hands down. Sosua has really good food as well. It's a little bit more expensive than Rio's food, though. So I'm gonna get an edge to Rio because the food is a little bit cheaper. Sosua, the food is expensive. Now you have to know where to look for the good food spots in Rio as well. That's why I always mention the buffets. There's a lot of buffets out here, and you can eat until you're full. Basically, some of the spots on the boardwalk, the food is a little pricey, and it's not like the best on the boardwalk. But in the buffets in the interior, you got a lot of good, nice restaurants with really good food in Rio, man. So shout out to Rio. Now, Grego said Medellin's international food is pretty good. You know what? I believe Cartagena food is better than Medellin's food. I do believe because it's on the coast, so you're gonna have more access to the seafood. Shout out to my boy John King. He says Medellin food is bad. Yeah, it is bad. It is bad. All right. Now we go to the exchange. We got the exchange next. Now, it was a little bit of a debatable topic as far as the exchange. The way I base the exchange is not necessarily the more reais or the more pesos you get for the American dollar. I kind of base the exchange on what you can get for the value of the dollar in exchange. So that's why I say I give the edge to Rio, because it seems like I spend less money here than I do in Medellin for like food and like, little toiletry items and stuff like that. So the food, the exchange is decent. It's a tourist town, so everything is a little bit more inflated. So for me personally, I feel like your dollar goes longer here in Rio versus Medellin and Sosua. Now it's cheap in Medellin too. I can almost put Medellin and Rio in it's kind of like a similar area when it comes to the currency exchange. I would think Sosua is probably the most expensive out of everybody. It's not super expensive, but I think it's more pricey because, like I said, it's a whole town dedicated to tourism. As far as when you're in Rio and when you're in Medellin, you kind of move around a little bit and find some little spots where you can eat, good food for $5. It's just a little cheaper in South America. Sosua is only DR is only like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Miami, guys. So some of that money is going to be inflated. All right. Well, I do this. I'm doing the cities by cities because it's easier to do city by city instead of trying to do the whole country. GC. All right. Now, as far as activities, you got a lot you can do in Sosua. You have a lot you can do in Rio. But Medellin, I'm sure all of you know, doesn't have a beach. So you can do a lot of hiking. You can do a lot of activities. You can go to Guadalupe. You can do jet skis. But as far as activities, when you have a beach, you're going to have a whole lot more things you can do. So as far as the beach life is concerned, I'm going to give the edge to Rio because you got so many beaches out here. And the beaches have different vibes. Some beaches you'll see more locals, and some beaches you'll see more tourists. So as far as the activities goes, Rio hands down, it's a lot to do in Rio, guys. This is a whole lot. So if you want them active guys, you want to go skydiving, you want to do, I be seeing brothers doing their little gliders. It's not my thing, but the guys be, gliding and all that stuff. You have a lot you can do in Rio as far as the activities. All right. So Sosua too. You can do the little the 4-wheelers and all that good stuff. You got a lot of activities you can do in Sosua as well. You got the 4-wheelers in Medellin too. But like I say, in general, when you have a city with a beach, it's just a number of things you can do in Sosua and Rio. Shout out to my dude Jay Clyde. He says, yeah, it's too much you can do in Rio. That's true. That's true. It is a lot you can do in Rio. Now, as far as the safety, as you can see on the list, I give Medellin. Let me get out of here. Give me this. Let me see here. Where's that list at? Here we go. As you can see, I put an X in Medellin. All right. Medellin has a lot going on. All right. You definitely have to move a certain way in Medellin. Okay. I heard a story yesterday of one of my friends of mine getting shook down or searched as soon as he left the airport in Medellin. You have a lot of factors at play in concerns of safety in Medellin. You definitely got to watch your drinks. You go on your dates with your hot ladies and everything. You got to watch the robberies. There's a lot of robberies in Medellin. They rob people left and right in Medellin, guys. They hop off the motor conchos with the helmet still on. They'll draw down on you, take your stuff, and go. Safety is definitely can be concerned. You can still go. You still have the time of your life, but you always want to be on your P's and Q's when it comes to Medellin. Now, in Sosua, I'm going to say for the most part, Sosua is safe. I've walked around Sosua 3, 4 in the morning at night, down all types of side streets and everything like that. Didn't have any issues. The most thing about Sosua, it's a lot of petty crime, a lot of pickpocketing and stuff like that. But as far as the drugging and the outright just robberies, I don't hear a lot of that coming out of Sosua. All right, Sosua is not that big, so I feel like it's the police are around. It's a little bit of an easy area to protect from all the BS. All right, but you still got to be careful anywhere in the world. But I'm gonna say in Sosua, you're pretty safe for the most part. Rio as well, guys. When I say they got police on almost every corner, 6, 7 deep with machine guns in Rio, it's for the most part around these tourist areas, they have it pretty safe, right? In Medellin, you do have areas where you see a lot of police, but listen, I've been in Medellin. I've been in parking areas where fights broke out and the police were nowhere around somehow, some way. Full fight broke out and I'm looking around like, I just saw 100 police. Where are they at? So I don't know why it's like that over there. But for whatever reason, man, you got to be really careful in Medellin as far as the safety is concerned. Let me put this back up. I tell guys all the time, you have to be careful of your circle. You have to run in a set circle in Medellin. I was there for a year. I had no issues. I was never drugged. I was never robbed. I got into a little bit of a issue in Central one time with some Venezuelan cats. It was more of a misunderstanding. I thought I was going to fight my way out of it. I don't know where my homeboy went. Turned around, he was gone. He said it was right there, though. But other than that little minor incident I had in Central with the Venezuelan guys, I had no issues out there in Medellin. But I will say, if it's your first time traveling, I think it'd be your best interest to possibly try, get a travel buddy, get a, a homeboy, or meet somebody that's a veteran out there in Medellin, Colombia. You can kind of in Rio, that as well. I think in every city, but specifically in Medellin, you definitely want to be careful on how you move. All right, you don't want to showboat. I saw a clip of a guy throwing money out there in Cartagena. I'm like, it's just a matter of time before they rob you. People are constantly watching you, so just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. Now we're gonna go to the transportation. Now the transportation, I'm gonna give the check mark. You can't really see it. Yeah, I get a check mark as far as the transportation to Rio and to Medellin. All right. That a little off. Yeah, it's supposed to be a check mark right there because you have access to Uber in Rio. Plus, you don't see a check mark on the list, but it's supposed to be a check mark in Medellin too. The Uber rides Rio and Medellin, $2, guys. It's not that expensive. You don't really have to have a car here to be able to move around at all. Of course, you got public transportation. People say don't get the taxis. Taxis are a little janky in Rio. Taxis can definitely be janky in Medellin as well. So you have Uber. Matter of fact, you got 3-4 different apps in Medellin. So transportation probably go get the edge to Medellin because there's so many ways you can get around. In Sosua, the transportation is horrible. All right, I've gotten to it with so many issues with these taxi drivers in Sosua. They'll tell you a price, they'll get a destination, they'll switch up the price on you. They love to do that. I have a big issue with somebody telling me something is this price, and then you get down there, they say, oh, it's this price. I've had that happen to me several times. That's why I don't do motor controls no more in Sosua. I try my best. You're forced to do taxis because there's no Uber. So shout out to Rigo Taxi, man. That's why your taxi services, you kind of want to have a driver already or a driver that you're comfortable with and that you're cool with, because just getting taxi to taxis is going to be super expensive, number one. It's going to be a bill. I think one time I was in Sosua for like about a week, and my tax bill had to be like $300, man. And I'm literally only going from Casa Linda, which is a place where the villas is at, to the beach and to town. So the transportation is the issue in Sosua, in my opinion. That's why you got to really shout out to my man Rigo Taxi. Him and his brother, they're really good. They do a lot of airport pickups from Santiago and POP. But as far as we always get into it with taxi guys, every trip, because they always on some other stuff. So I'm about to get that X as far as transportation in Sosua. We got 135 of them. That's what's up. Now, as far as dating, guys, hands down, I'm gonna say Rio, and Medellin. Both of them, they can be kind of comparable. The dating is pretty cool. For some reason, the thing about if you own the online thing as far as dating, Tinder, Tinder is cool out here in Rio, but I think it's other apps that they use more frequently than Tinder. I think Tinder is, it's cool. It's a lot of women on Tinder, but they use other apps. All right. Also, Medellin Tinder is pretty big. So the dating part. Now, as far as dating in Sosua, you see an X mark right there. Don't date in Sosua, guys. I'm gonna leave it at that. I wouldn't date in Sosua. All right. I'm gonna leave that out there. All right, shout out to my dude Kirby Films for $10 super chat. I appreciate that. He says, "What's up, BMT? Rio is all that. Can't wait to go back." Shout out to you, Kirby Films. Yeah, we gotta connect, brother. I see you with the camera. All right. So once again, shout out. Oh yeah, by the way, shout out to the Life of Bill. My man changed his name. He says, "I rent a car in Sosua, so there's no problem." Yeah. You can rent a car. I suggest that as well. If you know you're going to be moving and shaking around, you can rent a car. It's not super expensive. You can rent them from different places. You can rent it from the airport or whatnot. Definitely, get your insurance straight with that. But yeah, I think that would be your best bet. You probably will save more money renting a car than you will getting different taxis. All right. Yeah, Jamie Leslie says, almost had a scrap with a motor concho that tried to hustle me in Sosua. Man, they stay trying to hustle you. All right, African movements. We're gonna get into the subject at hand in a second, fellas. African movements makes a good point. He says, "Where is the cheaper date?" Huh. I'm gonna say you can. I mean, both of these. I'm gonna say Medellin, man. Medellin and Rio. I mean, it's not that expensive to date here. It's not expensive at all. I went to a really nice restaurant in Medellin called Colossal. It has the best view in Medellin. And the prices were very reasonable to be a high class restaurant like that. I mean, it's very nice. It's live band. You have the best view in the city. It's like up on the, like up near the mountains and all that good stuff. And the ticket is not even for two people. Might not even been $50. You know, where they get you sometimes is the wine at that particular bar. You know, but as far as cheap dating, I would say it's pretty cheap in Rio and Medellin. Yep. Shout out to my dude, Ja King. Shout out to Charles Explorers. Charles Explorers. Hey, we all been there, brother. He says, fell for a Sosua girl, didn't realize she was public property. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the subject. We got 136 in the room. That's what's up. Shout out to my man, King Sigma. He says, many men that hate on passport bros are bad at math and have no concept of economics. Now, let me preface this before we get in the video. I'm going to show a few clips. Once again, shout out to my dude, Master One Teacher. He covered the Kevin Samuels thing a couple of days ago. Shout out to my dude, O'Shea Dude Jackson. I've been talking to him lately. He did a video about, what Kevin Samuels said as far as passport bros. And let me say this before I preface. I like Kevin Samuels in his movement. I think he's doing more good than harm. But certain things, when it comes to different subjects, he covers a whole lot of subjects. It might not just be in his wheelhouse because he doesn't travel. So he's going to just give you the information that he knows because he's ignorant to, what goes down overseas. But I don't believe he has a passport. I don't believe he's been outside the United States, And let me say this. This right here that we have, this thing of ours, family, is a movement, right? This movement is almost like when cars came to frame and took over the market from the horse. All right. You're going to have certain people that know that your movement can take market share from their movement in concerns of life coaches, PUA coaches, all other types of guys who have this set lifestyle, like, America is the country to be. And, you're forced to stomp down and have your roots in America. There are no alternatives. You got dudes that have $1 million channels that's really set on complaining about what goes on in the matrix, complaining about dating market in America. So when you have an alternative movement, like black men traveling the world, getting passports, opening up businesses overseas, all right, opening up restaurants overseas, having 30, 40 Airbnbs in countries, having properties in different countries, dating beautiful women in different countries. And they know once you experience that, they know once you travel outside the United States and you go to Brazil, all right, you go to Medellin, you go to Thailand, it's a wrap for them. You're no longer going to watch anybody else's content. You specifically most of the time going to watch content from the travel bros. That's why I love when guys create. I tell guys all the time, man, if you're a veteran travel, create you a travel channel, bro. Give some up some of the game. Give these guys information that'll help them make a decision. Now, keep in mind, if you stomp down America, that's cool. Passport Bros isn't talking about everybody else because Passport Bros is busy doing their own little thing. We on our own little mission over here. When you travel the world, your life will change. It's no doubt. And it's not all about the women. I've said that several times. It's not all about the women, But we talk about economics and the fact that you can simply get on a plane and go to another country and multiply your money 4 times, multiply your money 5 times. All right. You can experience a different culture, So now you're going to be cultured. You're going to be moving and thinking differently. You can learn a different language. All right. Do you know how impressive it is for a black man to walk in a room and just imagine somebody speaking Spanish and you can hold a conversation? right then and there, everybody's going to be looking directly at you. Damn, bro, you know Spanish? You've already put yourself on the level. All right. And as far as women, women love men that can speak multiple languages. We all know that. All right. You in somewhere, you at a Brazilian restaurant, and you order your meal in Portuguese in front of that woman. She's going to be superiorly impressed. So we're talking about learning different languages. We're talking about economic opportunities. There's so much more to it than the dating aspect of just brothers traveling overseas. And that's my point. That's what we try to get out there to people, right? It's not all about the dating of it. It's different aspects. It's different benefits of becoming a world citizen in general. You have so many more opportunities, right? And if you can tap into that American financial structure and then have information and roots and have your friends and your business associates overseas, well, that $50,000 business loan you take out is worth 200 reais, so 300 reais, 300,000 pesos. All right. Instead of you buying a home for $250,000, maybe you can buy a small building for $250,000. This is the type of stuff we're talking about, guys. So, when guys try to say, things like, and I'm gonna play the clip in a second. Give me a moment, fellas. When guys say things like, well, where are you going to go? What you going to do? Oh, you got to make this type of money. What they're trying to do, they're trying to deter you because they want to keep your market share. All right? Give me a second. Give me a second, fellas. Hey, not yet. While I fix this, give me 1 second. The Black Man Travels merch store, where you can purchase BMT t-shirts, tank tops, travel quote tees, and much more. Stay travel motivated, my friends. Join the movement. Hey, family, if you want to connect with your fellow travelers around the globe and get early access to content as well as private events and merch store discounts, then make sure you join the private Black Man Travels 2.0 Facebook group. All right. All right, here we go. You know what? I'm going to have to end the stream.